with all these other people in Washington state that we're having all these arguments with so many different states, or so many different states are having arguments and having wars. You know, basically where all that money's going to? In the war. And flat out war. It's like saying, are we war profiteering? Are we working under the table? Are we giving out weapons for mass destruction to other countries, to other states? You know, and are we actually filling up their atomic bombs? Are we giving them, are we just doing underneath the table? Is somebody doing underneath the table work and giving more people in more other different states that we don't even know of, that can basically be in war right now? That basically, we already know that supposedly what we hear is Japan is having war, Russia's having war. Well, what else is going to be having war? Japanese, Chinese, Korean, Portuguese, Vietnamese, Russian, German, you know, Irish, Polish, and Swedish, you know, and then we got even, and then so forth and so on, of as many other wars that are going on. I mean, come on, enough is enough. We've had 23 years of wars going on, and then there's nothing to break, you know. There's stories, there's rumors, you know, but basically get to the actual thing. What started this war in the first place? What is the very, very first thing that came out of a person's mouth of saying, we want to strike war. We want to strike war and cause war and have war conflict. What started it all? What is the basic of all basics of the very first thing that would start a war? What is it? The question is, what is it? When was it? And how did it happen? How did this happen to turn a war into a feud of rage? Why did that happen? How did it happen? Who did it? What did it? How did it happen? Who was the cause of the war in the first place? The beginning, the middle, and the end of these subjects that I'm saying. There's more that meets the eye exactly how these conflicts happen, and we don't put a stop to it. Basically, you know, if I was a veteran, or if I was an officer or soldier, it wouldn't matter to me, because basically I would know that I'm doing something well and good. But I guess I'm just a citizen. But basically, war, citizen, war, citizen, war, citizen, war, citizen. What do I do here when I have nothing? I've had nothing for 42 years. I've had my name stolen. I've had my birth certificate stolen. I have had my identification stolen. I have scammers beyond scammers that are trying to scam me and make me think, oh, I can win easy money. Oh, wow. It's basically, you know, how do you know basically it's supposed to be, when a person's desperate for money and not making enough in America and not even making even an even amount to have an apartment, and we're supposed to rely on Social Security and food benefits. I mean, basically just for one person, or basically have two people, you know. I mean, they basically expect to say that a buck can stretch any more than it can. If all the other stores get taken out, all the other poor people will have nothing to eat. All the poor people will have nothing. If food stamps are taken away, nobody will have food. If Social Security became extinct, nobody's gonna have food, nobody's gonna have nothing. There who's saying or who not is supposed to say that a person is legal to be in Washington State when they're not legal. I mean, basically, if I wasn't illegal, I was an illegal citizen. I wasn't even born in Washington State. But then how can I end up telling the truth when they can't find my records? They look in 1987. He was only 6 years old. But there's no record of him. Oh, wow. Oh, my dear Lord. An officer actually got wrong. Even the judge. I mean, for crying out loud. I went straight to a courtroom one day. Straight to a courtroom. And I tried to get my identity back. And I wanted to talk to the judge. You know what happened to me? I got turned right around and kicked out the door. I got turned right around and kicked right out the door. I talked to an officer. He's like, sexual harassment, change your phone number, change your email address. How many times did I have to do that? I did that over 15, almost about 500 times. 500, maybe about less than that, 400 times of changing my number, and I'm still getting sexual harassed. No matter what, now I have to keep. It's like now I have no choice to keep a number because I can't change it because I have a parent that actually takes control of my phone and paying for my phone. I'm like, great. And then if I did on my own phone, I would have to go over another phone and another phone and another phone. I'm like, for crying out loud. And then basically you get a Obama phone while you're homeless. You don't have a mailbox, but then basically, do you have to pay for a mailbox? I mean, how do these logics supposed to make sense when basically you're supposed to have money, you're supposed to have a car, a vehicle to drive somewhere, and able to get somewhere, and you have no money, you have no food, you have no supplies, you have no clothing. It's like you're basically going outside butt naked, and you're walking around all through town butt naked without no clothes. You're seeing clothes dropped on the streets everywhere you go in Washington State. You have clothes everywhere all over Washington State. Now, based on what I've just said, can Donald Trump make different decisions to change this world to be a better place for everybody in Washington State? Can he bring back the soldiers to have every single soldier out there in Washington State, bringing in all these convicts and all these terrorists that are in Washington State to a halt and stop it all? Can he do that? Basically, everybody should be watching the news and watching everything that Donald Trump says and everything that he does. Can he prove it? Can he do it? Can he be telling the truth? Is he going to tell the truth? Is he going to do what he says he's going to do? Now, based on the reference, as another president that was in the White House that had charge of all this stuff, and he had 23 years or less than that, maybe about 20 years, maybe 15 years, whoever knows. The president of the United States is the president of the United States. And then basically now we got a new one in the White House. Are we going to see a difference in reality that these drugs are evil and they're bad for people? Are we going to see that medicated people are medicated correctly instead of the wrong way? Are these people going to be fixed and revolutionized and doing things right, the right way? Is this President Donald Trump going to set new rules and be more strict? Is he going to be more strict on all these people that are getting away with things and be more strict with them? Is all the court systems going to be more strict? Is all the officers going to be more strict? Are all the FBI going to be more strict? Are all the SWAT teams going to be more strict? Where is the freedom, but also where is the justice of getting things done? By your news crew or your news, by yours truly, Mark Allen Morrow, live news and true stories, news reports. Hey, don't bother me. Hey, it's not my fault that I'm basically talking out, but it's up to you to solve the answer and the riddle to the crime.